call the meeting to order for the Grey Cloud Township Board meeting, May 10th. Yeah, May 10th, sorry. Just a minute here.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 12th.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 4 is treasurer's report.
All right, so a couple pages back in your packet, you can see the financial statement for April 2023. We had a beginning balance in our checking of $136,479, less our April expenses of $17,063, for a subtotal of $119,415. And then additions of revenue for $1,365 gave us an ending balance in our checking of $120,780. Our investment accounts currently sit at a balance of $569,512. And then just a couple quick comments on our expenses year over year. So April of this year versus April of last year was $22,000 lower in expenses, and this was due, obviously in 2022 we were still paying for local St. Paul Park police and fire services. But we don't have that expense in 2023. And then our revenues year over year, pretty similar, pretty quiet year over year, but just a couple small items. In March, we actually got our cell tower payment twice, so it doubled up in March, so gave a variance in April. And then a slightly higher dividend year over year for another $500. And then a quick budget update at the bottom. We'll kind of go right to the year-to-date surplus or deficit. Through April, we're at just under a $10,000 deficit, so obviously we haven't gotten the tax levies or anything yet in for 2023, so that'll turn that around. Any questions on the financials?
Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
Do we need a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay bills 78 through 96 for $23,548.59.
I'll second the motion to pay that.
Any questions on that?
Nope.
With no questions, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, planning commission report.
Good evening, my name is Jake Jones. I'm here on behalf of the Planning Commission. At Monday's meeting started off in the open forum section. We fielded some questions from some new residents about building a new home on their property. They had questions about the process, permitting, where to begin. So we directed them to lay out their project and submit a proposal to the town clerk. We will answer outstanding questions and bring it back to the Planning Commission to move the permit along. Under business, we discussed opportunities for recruiting to the Planning Commission. The commission has 9 seats, 5 of which are filled. There are 4 vacancies. So if anyone here is interested or know of any other township members who would be interested in joining the commission, it is a volunteer position. You must be appointed by one of the board members. You can direct inquiries to Pam, the town clerk. She'd be happy to give you more information. The time commitment is minimal as a member of the commission, and it's also rewarding to be involved in the community. We also discussed ordinance violations and how we track progress regarding non-conforming properties, timelines, progress, and penalties. So we asked for, when applicable, that reports be given to the Planning Commission to discuss repercussions or further options as such. We also discussed the IUP process, which is something we're returning to after a few months. It's the opinion of the planning commission that we want to look at the ordinances as a whole before adopting language for an IUP. The
Can-
ordinances.
Can you explain what that is? Do you have
Yes,
it?
so our township ordinances to the average community member are very confusing to understand what's happening and what applies to where. And there may be some ordinances over time that might not apply to our current living situation. So before we adopt additional language, we want to make sure that it wouldn't be in conflict with anything else. So one of our planning commission members, Amy, is going to investigate, get an estimate from a firm, professional, who could look at our ordinances to restructure them so that things are coherent and make sense. And then also using the Minnesota Township Association formatting, again, to make it more coherent to everybody. Yes, I think that's it in terms of what we discussed. The meeting ran about an hour on the dot.
Yeah, can you explain IUP?
Yeah, so IUP would be an interim use permit. Up until very recently, we've been issuing conditional use permits for people who own businesses out of their homes and such like that. We learned maybe in the last year that conditional use permits are permanent and are tied to the property itself. And we had some advisement from our attorney and other people that an interim use permit might be more applicable to these situations, whereas a business might have to reapply annually to continue their license working out of their home. So it's language that we've been discussing, kind of going back and forth on for several months now.
Thank you. Okay. The next planning commission meeting is Monday, June 12th at 6:30. The next town board meeting is Wednesday, June 14th at 7 o'clock. Any other business? Okay, we'll move on. Kuhlow's, Mo's, Endres properties.
Well, I can talk about Kuhlow.
Okay,
Me and Dan actually got a site visit there. I went to meet with him. Dan was driving by, he stopped, so we talked to Mr. Kuhlow tonight. And he's actually got the place pretty well cleaned up, surprisingly. What he's got left, he's got like a truck body box off a truck sitting on a trailer. And he's got to get rid of that yet. He's got that motorhome sitting there, he's got to get rid of that. Bunch of patio blocks, 5-6 pallets of them, and some other blocks and stuff later. I'll get rid of that. And he actually asked us to come over, and what he wanted was another extension. And after talking to Dave Snyder this morning, and he said, we ain't giving him any extensions. We've been dealing with him since 2021. So, he wanted more time. I said, you've had 21 to 2 to 3 to, you've had 3 years. We think you've had enough time. So, yeah, he understood that. And I told him, I said, you ain't no dummy. I can see this ain't your first rodeo. You've been through this before. You've had plenty of time to clean this stuff up. So he intends to get rid of it. Like I told him, I said, well, you really got 2 weekends, because he signed a stipulation agreement that I think we got $12,000 of his money in the bank. We can use that to clean the place up if you don't do anything. 10,000. And if we use that up, he agreed that we can assess his property for any additional costs. So I told him, I said, it's a lot cheaper for you to get rid of that motorhome than it is for us to call a towing company in there and have it towed out. And he understood that. So he intends to cut that up in little pieces and take it up to Newport to the recycle place. So, but anyway, we told him he could keep his tractor. That ran. So, he can't, but anyway, and then we got Mo's here. And if you guys want to say something, I've drove by there. The place is getting better all the time.
Getting better.
You can get in the driveway anyway, huh? Right?
Yeah, we had put a lot of iron in a dump trailer and hauled it in several times, and we've hauled, or had hauled 5 30-yard dumpsters out, stuff that we didn't need and didn't want. And so cleaned up quite a bit.
So
Quite
we're-
a few vehicles, we've gotten rid of
Oh,
quite a
yeah.
few vehicles already that were on the property and, well, we're not finished, yeah.
Oh, I think as far as I'm concerned, I think these two can speak for themselves. As long as you keep making progress, that's our concern. You know, been going the other way for what, 45 years? So I mean,
And they have been.
50
working
years.
nonstop, almost, my dad's worked really hard at it and,
Yeah.
you know, throwing it out as possessions, it's gotta be a little traumatizing,
Well,
but it's doing well.
Anything we put by the end of the driveway, you take it.
Not anymore.
We've got, my daughter adopted a son, and we did have to give him back one toy that he
And then-
Find little excuses still, but we have to see through that.
no, we're happy as long as you're making progress. That's the key thing. Voluntary compliance is better than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
And Endres, who wants to talk about that? How about you, Dan? That's your
Well, I
buddy.
seen in that email, I have done nothing with that property since the Cottage Grove stuff. And then we did get an email, you know, because I did that through the Cottage Grove, and they signed off on his property. I mean, I've given them friendly reminders as I see it, that things need to be cleaned up. But Tracy was out there and he gave us a report not too long ago, and then he got some pictures back, so I don't really know much more on the compliance side of it.
The last I heard, Tracy gave him a list of some stuff to get rid of, and I think he did.
Right.
It's mostly trash and stuff. Now granted, he's still not the neighbor nobody'd want. But as far as our ordinances go, he's, for the junk he's got around there, he makes it.
Well, and his dogs don't run anymore.
No.
That one dog would run all the time.
Yeah.
It's back out, unfortunately. It was in for a long time now. It's
If
been
you're
back
gonna
out.
speak,
I hate to do this to you.
Okay,
You gotta go up there so we can hear it on the video. Sorry.
So Kuhlow, we have to pass a resolution tonight to authorize our attorney, we're gonna do that in our new business, to proceed with the cleanup thing and give him notification? Or you wanna do that right now?
I know that's what, like, we talked to him and we said we're not giving any extension of time, but like Dick said, it would take us a couple weeks and that hopefully he'll just have the stuff gone, but we told him we have full intent to make a motion to clean up the property and do that stuff, so. We don't have, yeah.
I don't think we have to do anything.
No, we wanna make the motion, otherwise he'll kick it down the road.
Oh,
Yeah. Pam, do you know exactly what Snyder wanted us to do, or no?
You talking about Endres?
Kuhlow.
Basically, he has.
He's out of time.
He is out of time.
He was supposed to be done May 1st.
I do not know what our attorney wants us to do now.
Well, I think he wants us to, he wants permission from the town board to proceed with the contents of the settlement agreement to clean up the property if Kuhlow don't get it done. I'll make a motion, we forward our findings from Mr. Kuhlow to our attorney and our code enforcement officer to proceed with the cleanup of the property under the terms of the stipulation agreement signed by Mr. Kuhlow and the town board.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And we told him we were gonna do that, so he was gonna come tonight, but he said, well, there's no sense me coming to the meeting, you already told me what you're gonna do. I, well, yeah, you're right, so.
Any other unfinished business?
I did wanna make just one correction to the,
Should we-
unfinished business minutes.
You wanna go to the mic, Pam?
Yeah.
We gotta go, sorry.
From last month?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll have to drop it down.
Jake, help her out.
I want to say we are.
yeah, I'm Karen Ball, down at 5590 99th Street. And anyway, the unfinished business minutes, relating to the property, there's a sentence in there that says, Mr. Mo stated he is having dirt hauled in for another project and it's currently in the staging area. So my parents received a notice from the code enforcer, that he had violated a code, an actual violation notice. And, that dirt wasn't hauled in, it's been sitting there for over a year, it's just starting to move. So I think he was under the impression that there was
New
work
dirt hauled
being
in?
done. There's not a new driveway going in, and I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, thank you.
Also, most of that dirt has been moved and flattened out.
So your neighbor's happy is what you're saying? Or there's no problem? Well, he might never be happy, but
Well, he waves to me every time he goes by, that neighbor.
the whole hand or just part of it?
All 5 fingers? Or-
Very friendly.
Okay.
Okay, the next order of business is Codify Noise Ordinance 61.
What is that?
Noise ordinance, you have to codify the resolution.
So what do we gotta do?
Make a motion?
Motion, second, approve.
Well, I make a motion, we codify noise ordinance 61.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to road repair.
I met with
Frank?
RCM Specialties, they rode around what Frank, the guy's name is, and he looked at all our different roads, and anyway, he gave us a cost of $15,100 to go around spray patch all our holes on our bad roads.
That's great. We're gonna have to wait till he gets back next week to go look at the roads.
Till who gets,
Yeah.
there's nothing to look at. It's kinda done.
Oh. When are we gonna have the road cleanup?
Pam canceled it.
Oh.
We didn't have it last year either. Cheryl canceled, well, me and Pam canceled, Cheryl canceled it last year. Because what basically happened, when Oatman used to come down here, that school group, theater group, whoever it was, we had all kinds of help and all kinds of people here. Well, they quit, since Oatman moved up on top of the hill, that group no longer exists. So I think the last time we had a ditch cleanup was about 3 years ago, something like that. And there was all 4 of us here that showed up, and there really wasn't that much junk in the ditches, so last year we didn't have it. And Pam asked about it this year, and I said, we probably get the same amount of participation, so that kind of eliminated the road cleanup.
What's it?
Sign-up sheet.
We could, if you see, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I drove around it pretty good. There's not a whole lot of stuff, and if I ever see anything, I just stop and grab it and pick it up, but I think most homeowners kind of clean up in front, it seems like, but if we
Well,
see an
no.
unreasonable amount, then we should definitely start doing it again, but
I noticed, old heavy iron mailbox in the ditch down the road a bit, and I didn't want to get blamed for it falling off my trailer, so I picked it up this afternoon, so.
you didn't bring it home, did you?
Well, it's on the trailer. I wasn't gonna try and carry it, so I weighed 8 pounds.
So, Dick, with that bid you got,
Yeah,
I mean, how do we want to handle that? Because I don't really.
we just gotta give him, if we agree with it, give him motion to proceed.
To me, when I looked at that and I look around, I feel like spending money on the drive is probably worth it, but the
Yeah.
other 2 roads for that kind of money, I don't know that they're in that rough a shape. That's just my opinion, but if we want to do like Paul says and have a on-site road drive and talk about it together, we could, but I just don't want to keep dumping 15 grand on each road that's, we spent, what, 28,000 last year? On those,
Yeah,
on that same
24
thing?
something, yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I didn't see a whole lot of potholes or stuff for 7 grand on Pioneer and stuff.
Well, Pioneer's got quite a few. And if you don't fix them, they just keep growing. The worst one is Island Drive. There's a handful of holes on 99th, a couple down on 105th.
Right, that's what I see as a couple, so when I see a $7,000 bid for a couple, it's, do we wanna do it, we should just do an on-site visit then
It's 1,500.
for that one, but
It's
Pioneer's.
15,000 for the whole
Pioneer's
thing.
what, $7,000 for Pioneer?
Yeah. Pioneer's got a lot of bad spots in it. It actually does.
Excuse me, Dan,
Yep,
board members, if you don't mind my interjection.
Yeah.
I'm Caleb White, we live on 105th. And that road looks like the back of an alligator.
yep.
I don't know if you've spent any time walking down there. They did this little partitional seal patch with the chips in the past, and that's, like a better word, that's like put a super glue on it. All right? It helps a little bit, but in no time at all, that road's just gonna decay away. I mean, it's pretty much little pieces.
Yep. That's where I'm
And I find it
at.
a little bit insulting, to be honest, that I'm a taxpayer and board members are sitting here discussing, oh, well, there's not really much value.
So I'll just, can I finish real quick? Can I finish real quick?
Yes.
So my position when I got on the board member, I wasn't responsible for not saving funds for our township roads. So we made the moves to get sheriff and build money. So my position sitting up here is that we spent $28,000 on something that's gonna fall apart in a year. So if we keep spending $28,000 on stuff that's just gonna go, my position would be let's save for a year or 2 years and budget to just redo that road instead of spending 50 grand, 30 grand every year when it's just garbage, when we could get to a brand new road sooner, and that's just my opinion. I would not wanna live on your road. I know that we go spend 15 grand, your road's gonna look like crap in another year because you can't do anything to that road, it's already gone. But we don't necessarily have the $200,000 to fix that road this year.
Well, that is a good conversation to have.
Yep.
However, sitting at the back of the room, I didn't hear that.
No, I was not finished, but yeah, that's my opinion on the roads. And I don't know if we'll approve the 15,000 to do that or not, and that's discussion we have to have as a definite group, and I appreciate your, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm not saying let's not do that road, so I want to get to a solution sooner than later.
Very well, thank you.
Yep.
Well, so people know the cost we got to spray patch 99th Street is $1,887. Pioneer Road, $5,662. And Grey Cloud Island Drive and 105th, the two together is $7,550. So all the roads all together are $15,100. So I don't know what you want to do. We ain't got much choice but to fill the potholes.
Well, my thoughts would be, I mean, we could do a serious walkthrough on it, but when I walk the roads, like, there's not, like, I don't think it's gonna do a whole lot, it's just gonna rip ripped out, but I was hoping that we could get somebody to give us a bid for like 99th or 105th, just to redo, so we have a current bid on what that road would cost to do, so that when we have our road budget, we can get, cause I think in the next 2 years, we need to be able to pick off either 99th or 105th, and then save for Pioneer.
What do we
But
do with the potholes in the meantime?
if you think 3 potholes are worth, I mean, that's
Well,
what I
it's-
go, I don't know, let's have a
it's-
drive-through then, let's just walk the road.
Okay, well, I tried to get you two to go, but,
When did you reach out to me to go on a road tour?
well, I told you that Frank guy was coming, but you had to work, so he met me the other day.
Yeah. I would gladly
Then
go
when I talked to
drive
Paul,
with
he
you.
said, why don't you go with him, so I went with him. I don't know, unless you wanna wait a month, you wanna go look around at them and wait a month on this?
I can go with, yeah, we could do it, if we wanna get together and do a road thing next week, we can do that, and I'll be back next week.
But then we put off filling the potholes for a month and a half.
That's, I mean,
We
you
can do
two
that.
can
We can-
think, that's my personal thought when I drove the road for 15 grand, I don't think, but I just know where our budget's at, and I'd rather have a plan for these people to see that we're gonna redo their road in 2 years and they understand it or something, but
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
let me tell you people what happened on the roads last year, though. People like to complain about the roads. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. Prior to me and Dan being on the board, there is no capital improvement budget in this township to speak of. We got about, what, 550,000 in the bank, 575 at one time. 500 of that came from the sale of this and money that from a lawsuit for, we had with Aggregate Industries. So if you take that 500 out, what we've saved for operating expenses in the last 10 years is $75,000. That don't do much when it comes to roads. So now we had our annual meeting last year, and that's when the public votes on the road. They vote on the budget. Okay, we got rid of the police contract. That saved us $90,000 a year. I wanted to take that full 90 and put it toward roads. The public got convinced by some people, no, let's cut the budget by $20,000. So they cut the budget by 20 grand. Well, that took that 90 you saved and moved it down to 70, not including any increase in costs and anything else we did. So we really didn't save 70 for roads or anything else. It's probably more like 60. Well, 60,000 a year putting toward roads don't get you far. When our half of Grey Cloud Trail came due was $170,000, and that was in 2017, I think. So if you want your roads fixed, show up at the annual meeting and ante up.
That's on September 19th,
Yeah, I don't remember what the date is,
something like that.
but costs a lot of money to
Yeah,
do a road.
yeah.
You're looking at, probably to redo the blacktop part of Pioneer Road is probably, well, if Grey Cloud Trail at the time was $320,000,
That was before costs skyrocketed.
and that was before road prices went up, you're probably looking at $500,000 or $600,000 just to do Pioneer Road. So you get an idea how far behind we are in funding for roads. So, and then if you ever want to do Grey Cloud Trail, that'd be an expensive one. You got spots alongside the road that are 30 feet deep, a gully down the side of them that you're dealing with, and mailboxes and driveways on both sides. The trail was a rather simple affair. 99th wouldn't be a big deal, 105th wouldn't. I mean, it's easier doing, but it still costs. That's my 2 cents. So don't expect your roads to get fixed fast under the current budgeting we got.
Well, St. Paul Park owns half of that road. But our half was more expensive because they had the new mailboxes, they had the little aprons into each of the driveways.
St. Paul Park's half was 150,000, ours was 170,000.
Yeah. And that's because of all
Yeah,
the work was on our
yeah.
side.
That was only a 30-day, I mean, do you have any comments on that, Paul, or not? I mean, do you want to just do, because it was a 30-day quote, but
He would probably extend it. But I don't know, I guess, what are you gonna do if you don't do that? You got holes you gotta fill, one way or another, whether it's somebody out there with a wheelbarrow and,
I guess that's all I did.
I mean, the
Could
holes
drive
ain't
it.
gonna go away between
No.
now and looking at
could
it.
drive it slower, but I just looked at the number of potholes and the price, and it sure just seemed to not.
Oh, it hit me too
For
when he
spending
sent me
30
this,
grand, for spending 30 grand on it last year, like it's crazy.
Well, 24, I think we spent last year.
Do you want to do like a motion to approve up to that amount on that and then have a drive? So at least we could be able to approve work to get started if we decide.
How would we do that
Trying
without
to leave it.
violating our open meeting law?
Oh, yeah. Well, if we make a motion to approve up to that amount, would that violate the meeting law?
No,
If we only-
but then we've approved it. We could always tell Pam never call the guy. We could approve this amount. That don't mean we have to send it to him.
That's what I'm saying. We could decide on a road review that we're only gonna do this or that.
Or none of it, or whatever. You wanna do that?
Just trying to meet in the
Okay,
middle-
I'll make a
meet in the
motion,
middle
we
with you.
approve this bid for RCM for $15,100, pending site visit by the town board, and, well, that'd be it, pending approval at the site visit.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, tree trimming. Tree trimming,
Do we have any standard companies we've used in the past, or
Oh,
what?
did you bring that up? Is that
Well,
your
we
idea?
just talked about it. I mean, we had I got a quote to do ditch cleanup stuff, but you kinda took care of most of that stuff.
Yeah.
But do we wanna look at having someone give us a price to push back some of the tops, cause we're gonna end up with the same problems or not?
You wanna do that now, or you wanna do it in the fall after they're done growing for this year?
Well, we could definitely do trimming later, but would we wanna get some quotes just to have,
Yeah,
I don't think the price would change.
I would get one from our plow guy.
Does he
They
do
were
a
the-
tree
Yeah,
stuff?
they were the guys that would do it. They've done it in the past.
Who you wanna get it from? Who?
Our plow guy,
Oh, they do tree trimming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why don't we get a couple of quotes? Who's gonna go around with them? The problem with that is,
Yeah, it's hard
you know,
to,
what's taken off, what isn't, you know what I mean? It's,
yeah.
who wants to do that?
I can.
Okay, all right. Will you do that and get back to us in the next couple months or whatever then?
Any idea who else to get, or anybody have an idea for tree trimming other than Bureau?
He can look around, look in the yellow pages and see who else there is.
we can, yeah, I'll do some snooping too.
Yeah, 'cause on Grey Cloud, on Island Drive, there's a lot of trees that are, the trucks are hitting them along there. School bus hits them.
Yeah, Greenleaf's.
Yeah, Greenleaf is who
That's-
Newport happens to use, if that matters to anybody. Brent?
There's two
something?
one.
Yeah.
Ricky Cook is Green Tree and Stump, and Greenleaf is the other guy.
Greenleaf?
He was,
He was very high, wasn't he, last time? that guy?
no, he's the lowest one, but,
Oh, Greenleaf was?
yeah.
Oh.
He's swamped.
Well, we're in no
I
I mean,
hurry.
if we,
You-
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Blue Chip. I've seen that S&S tree service around.
Gordy, what was the name of that?
What's that?
Blue Chip.
Okay,
They're down on Hardin.
okay.
I think, I see Ivan's tree service trucks around
They
the
did
area all the
mine.
time. Okay.
They did my trees. It costs $1,000 more than,
Problem is, they're all busy right now with all that trees fell, and that stuff, thrown over the winter.
yeah, we did just be a nice fill-in job through the winter for him or whatever. We don't need
Yeah,
no
we're in
hurry on
no,
it.
we're in no big hurry.
They're all busy right now.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
clean up after the winter.
Get bids when they're slow, right?
yeah, not after what happened this winter.
Yep.
Okay, next one, new polling place for Grey Cloud. Let me tell you what happened. I got the date here. We gotta be out of here.
July 2024.
Yeah. That's when we get the boots put to us here. Okay. So we can't vote here in 2024, as far as we know. Okay. So in order to change our polling thing, you gotta do things ahead of time by a year or so. So I happened to be out here doing some stuff, and Pam was talking to the people from the county, and I came in and sat there, and one of our options is, okay, we got a few options. Okay, if we want to, we can't vote here, that's a given, so that, forget about that. Okay, the next one was we would vote at Pine Hill. Okay, we would all have to go up to Pine Hill and vote. But if we do that, we gotta supply our own election judges, our own room, our own equipment. No different than being here, our costs, except we'd be up there. So you have to go up there and vote. All right. The other option, and we just got a letter today from the guy, they're still checking on this, we can go to mail-in balloting. Okay, what the county does is they mail everybody a ballot. Okay, now you can mail that back, or, let me come from the other end. The one drawback of that is you can't go vote on voting day. If you don't get your mail-in ballot
We don't
in,
want that.
well, let me finish.
Oh, you can vote on voting day.
Not in person, just go vote. You can't, he said you couldn't do that.
What they explained was that if we went to mail-in ballots,
Yeah,
they'll mail you a ballot. If you want to use it, go ahead, mail it back in. If you don't feel comfortable with mailing it in, you can stuff your little envelope and bring it up to the Cottage Grove
Oh, yeah.
Government Center.
Yeah.
Or you can rip up the mail-in ballot and you can go vote in person at the location that they give us. And they're hoping to have it somewhere nearby. They don't know where it would be yet.
He
Because
said-
it's still in legislation.
He said that would be up till election day.
You can vote in person on election day.
That ain't the way I heard him say that. We couldn't do that. Because we.
I'd vote for Pine Hill, just be done with it. Bring our gear up and vote just like we normally would.
Well, we can save about $6,000 a year by
I'm all
doing
for
this.
voting in person and not doing the other stuff, but that's just my opinion, so,
You can vote in person
You can,
yeah, I don't. want-
anytime you want. You can go ahead of time, you can vote on the day, or you can mail that baby in, which,
I don't need
Or-
a bunch of,
or you can go vote
Mail-in
in, or you can
ballots
go
sent
vote
out.
in person like a month ahead of time at the South Washington County Southern Service Center. The only two me and her don't agree on is the way I understood it, you can't go vote in person on election day because our people wouldn't be there. Our election judges wouldn't be there, there would be nowhere for us to vote.
they are going to have a place where people can go specific for Grey Cloud, for people that want to vote in person.
Did he come back later with that? Is that what he did?
Nope, he said it that day 3 times, Dick.
Oh, that ain't the way I heard him say it.
I
but-
know.
Okay. We don't agree on that part. But anyway, here's what we're gonna do. You can think about it for a month, and this guy had to find out, this is a new thing. He said it's still in the legislative process. He thinks it's gonna pass, where a township can go to all mail-in balloting. Okay, and then we asked him if he could come back here to our board meeting next month and answer questions on it. And he was gonna find out about that. So we're anticipating him coming back here in June. But the way I understood it, we voted in person last year. You can go up to the Washington County Service Center out on County Road 19. So you can mail, the way I heard it, you could go up there and vote right in person, right up until the day of the election is what I was told. Or you can mail in your mail-in ballot, or you can take your mail-in ballot and take it up there and drop it off, or you can tear your mail-in ballot up and go vote in person up there.
man, imagine if we just had an election day, one day where he just did it and not did this other stuff. It'd be just simple.
Well,
Anyway, we'll get some info bring questions next month then, is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
A lot of people like the mail-in balloting. You know, they don't have to go up there, they don't have to do it.
Okay, next
All right.
thing on the agenda is possible garage-type structure for the township.
That's me again. Okay, when we get booted out of here, there is certain stuff we have to store. You know, not a lot, file cabinet, some of the junk in the shed, some signs and stuff like that. Okay, so the question is, what are we gonna do with that stuff? Where are we gonna keep it? Okay, so do we go rent someplace? Or do we build a small structure over by the cemetery? Or another thought I had, depending on how much money it costs, I wonder if we would be able to duplicate this building over there and have.
This building?
Yeah, one similar to this, same size roughly, and not have to put in a well and septic system, all that, still use an outdoor toilet. It'd be an El Cheapo town hall. I don't know if that's legal or not.
I don't think
That's
we
all up for
have,
No,
discussion.
you can't do that. Yeah, I mean, you have to have,
I don't think we have enough stuff that is worth, I'd rather get roads for the residences, you know, instead of, that, no matter what we do over there, it costs you'd eat up $100,000 pretty quick. Even a shed structure would be 60, 70 grand.
well, more than that, because you
Right.
have to have
I think we need to
a
focus on,
handicap toilet in there, you'd have to have.
Well, that's
he's just
my-
saying, he's just
that's my
saying an
question.
open
Do we-
shed, basically.
Do we have to or
You
not?
have to have a handicap toilet, both men's and women's.
You know, you go to the state parks, and they don't necessarily have them. You know, you go to the city parks and that, they got an outdoor biffy there. How are they getting by?
Are they all grandfathered in?
Well, you see brand new ones that have that, you know? It's a question. And we have some material coming from aggregate. We got 500 tons of fill sand they owe us if we build something. We got 500 tons of class 5, and we got 75 yards of concrete. all for free. That was part of selling this building, so we do have that to work with too. You know, to help reduce our costs. But we really don't have to, we don't have to make a decision right away, but it's, I brought it up for thought, because I guess we can kick the can down the road till next spring, but I don't know, you guys interested in that at all, or I mean, what, you got any other ideas? We gotta find somewhere to put our junk.
Personally, I don't think we'll end up being out of here, and if we are, then we deal with it as the time comes. I don't think we hit the panic button yet. I think we gotta get a budget for roads and get all that stuff going, and if it sounds worse next year, then it doesn't take long to throw up a shed, if that's literally what we have. I mean, we don't have much stuff in that thing outside, so I'm sure we can make something work, and if we had to rent
It
for
could be a
6
lot
months.
smaller than that.
Yeah, if we had to rent for 6 months a storage thing for the little bit, it'd still be cheaper than spending money right now. I know the Indian tribe, been working on them to see if they would help partner with some funds with stuff, and so we'll see what things lead. But I don't know. I think for where we're at with our budget, we should be focused on the roads.
Okay, just keep in the back of your mind that we gotta do something by next July. Really, these decisions should have been made prior to the sale, but that didn't happen, so. All right, on to the next thing. This is mine too, a county meeting for Wholesome. A lot of people got it. Wholesome is, the county's having a, planning commission advisory meeting? Public hearing. And they're having it up at Stillwater at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I think we should write a letter to that group, planning department, and Carla Bigham, and ask them if they would consider moving that meeting down closer to where the residents are that it's affected, so they can attend the meeting. And they could either have the meeting here, or they could have it at the Washington County Service Center. I mean, yeah, not at 4 o'clock, at like 6:30 at night, so working people can go to it. To me, having it up there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon up in Stillwater, it's kind of like, we don't want anybody here.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, get a hold of, you're gonna get a hold of county and tell them to,
Well, I was gonna have Pam write them a pleasant letter, just ask them if they'd consider
having it here.
having it here or South Washington County Service Center, and have it at 6:30 at night instead, so people can
At
attend.
minimum, a time change, yeah.
You can send that to the planning department up there and our county commissioner. I would think they do that, because you think other meetings they had, like they had a County Road 19 realignment meeting, they've had 3, 4 of them. They didn't have them up at Stillwater at 4 in the afternoon, they had them down at Cottage Grove City Hall and up at South County Service Center, All them PFAS meetings on the water, they were all held closer to where the residents are affected, not, not at 4 in the afternoon, 20 miles away.
Okay, we're on to other stuff. I have something. I will not make the June meeting. Either the planning commission or the, town board, because we'll be in Florida. Yeah. We're going with a real good couple of, Steve and Tammy. And it's gonna
You
be
taking
fun.
me and Dan with then, is that the deal?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just the four of us.
I told, before the meeting, I had a conversation with Grant Wilson with the DNR today, too. Just been talking to some people about sediment in the channel and the big trees and everything that are coming down the channel. So after all these years, finally getting some calls, that Rick Hansen, our representative, he actually helped guide some direction, so we'll see where that leads.
From the Corps of Engineers?
Yeah, he was having a meeting this week with some people with the Corps and everything, and I told him the bigger concern is with, the sediment's one thing, but the big trees, I don't know if people driving across the bridge see all those huge trees that come in, they don't clear out the bottom of the channel, and it's just creating havoc. So hopefully we can get something where they all understood and agreed that those big trees off the main channel shouldn't be coming in, so.
They would, construct a boom of some type, could deflect trees, away from coming down the channel, 'cause they come down hitting the dock.
Yeah, we told them a wing dam. That's what because the whole purpose was to return everything to the natural water flow, but they created a man-made wing dam right across from our channel, so it pushes everything. It never used to be a problem when it was closed off because there was nowhere for water to go. So now that our channel's opened up, it just pushes all the trees right into our channel. So 9 out of 10 make it into our channel and goes down the main river. So yeah, yep. Yep. Right out, yeah, no, yeah. You'd like it, that'd help you out a lot.
Well, mine is okay, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm right in the front, I don't
Yep.
much there.
No, it all clears beyond, yeah. Something would be nice, we'll see. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Well, you might wanna continue this meeting till after, so it includes your road review, then you can all meet and talk and violate the open meeting law. Up to you, it doesn't matter to me, but just trying to keep you out of trouble.
Well, I'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Hang
Well-
on,
Wait,
should think about that for a minute. If we
Well,
okay.
we can meet for a site visit.
we approved the expenditure.
I know, but there's the problem with the open meeting is you're not supposed to all three be together.
We can make site visits.
Well, I don't, all together without
Yeah.
notice to the public or anything.
Yeah, that's legal. Basically, I forget what the statute said, Minnesota Association of Townships said, if you don't have staff to do what you're doing, you can do it. Now, if we had staff that, okay, hey, you road people, go check this out and report back, that'd be different. Kind of like me and him being at Kuhlow's tonight. We don't have staff to do that, so that was kind of by accident we ran into each other, but, yeah. You can't make any, what do you call it,
Township decisions.
we couldn't
Or discussions.
not pass this expenditure now and all three meet down on 99th Street and say, well, let's approve this 15,000. We couldn't do that. So that's why we approved the 15,100. And then we'll go look at the roads, and that don't mean we have to send it in and give it to them. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. I'll second your motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.